If you were a fan of the SOCOM and Future Soldier games, you have probably been waiting a long enough time for a revive and a reboot. With nothing announced, it's not likely we're going to see them revived anytime soon, but there is a way to get the same third-person PvP feeling without spending any money. Caliber is a free-to-play, third-person 4 vs 4 online shooter with gameplay elements very similar to both SOCOM and Future Soldier, featuring your typical PvP fights, but also featuring PvE and PvP VE playlists too. It has 48 operators to be unlocked, all of which have unique abilities and weapons. 48 operators are broken into 4 classes. The Assault class, the most mobile member of the team, can kind of, flank around and maneuver on the enemy, also features kind of a good balance between mobility and damage. The Medic class heals wounds of the team and revives down members, also carries kind of more revived syringes than everybody else. Lightly armored and armed, but it's kind of more of a support role, but it's kind of, easy to take down enemies too at the same time. The Support class, the most heavily armored class, usually carries light machine guns, pretty slow and cumbersome on its movement, but is the hardest of the 4 to kill. And the Marksman class, capable of taking out most enemies from range and completely locking down entire avenues of approaches. All these classes have pros and cons to them, but none are alone considered OP. There are 8 nations represented with the operator selection, with Russia having the most operators. Operators from VIPL, Alpha, SSO, 22 SPN, and I know I butchered a few of those. You also have Poland with GROM units, Germany with KSK, USA with SEALs, and the UK with TFB, also France with RAID, Israel and Nesher, and Spain with Ezapak. All the operators have multiple camo options with a good number, including legendary skins that not only boost XP gain and completely change the way your operator looks, but also changes the gun scope or the red dot use. This is a cool little feature that, while it's only cosmetic, it's something that I liked because, for example, like Scout's base gun was a SCAR Mark 17, but his legendary featured an HK-417. Nothing doesn't change anything about the operator, but at the same time makes him look a little cooler and kind of changes the way, you kind of see him. The different PvP matches are broken into 2 different types of game modes: Showdown and Hacking. Showdown is the best of 3 matches where you win by either killing all the enemy team or capturing their base, whichever comes first. Win 3 rounds and you win the match. Easy as that. This is what I consider my main mode to play. That's the one I spend the most time on. It's the one I feel is just kind of more fitting of the game. The next PvP mode is Hacking, which is one team tries to defend 2 points and the other team tries to hack it. It's really similar to Search and Destroy, and it's another best of 3 match. This game mode also gives you tokens of the season event that can be used to unlock operators, emotes, skins, etc. The PvP VE mission, which you can't say 3 times fast, is Frontline, which pits 2 teams in a kind of a tug of war on a long block. You start on the opposite end of the street of the enemy team, and you capture points moving towards the center, while AI spawn around and kind of attack you in kind of a wave form and fashion. You can choose to kind of push farther forward and ignore the AI and points and just take it fight to the enemy team, or you can focus on the points and try to win the game that way. Either way, it's a super fun game mode and does require a little bit of teamwork to actually get going and, win the game. Clearing is the easier of the PvE missions, which requires you and your team to complete certain objectives while fighting AI, and this is definitely a fun experience. Special Operation mode, though, is pretty difficult. It's the same as clearing with objectives. You need to complete it with the team against AI, but it is a little slower and harder. There is friendly fire activated. Also, if you're downed and revived, you receive an HP penalty for the entire duration of the match. So you got to be very careful with how you approach the fights with AI. I have become extremely addicted to this game. The nostalgia I feel when playing this is unreal, and I get extremely heavy SOCOM vibes every time I get into a match. Some matches can be extremely quick, 1-minute huge firefights, where others can go down to the wire time-wise and with crazy teamwork and action. The maps feel pretty good size and balance for 4 vs 4, enough range to allow marksmen to kind of reach out and touch people, but not large enough to limit the close quarter combat. While they do feature lanes and choke points, there are destructible elements which allow new options for flanking and movement when opened. Each operator comes with a special munition which can either be 2 to 3 times in use. They are limited though, so if you use all 3 of them in the first round, you have none for the rest of the match, which is really important and crucial, especially if it's a claymore, as it can be used to not only open a destructible door, but cover your flank. So it's really important to use them wisely because you might need them later in the match. The biggest issue that I face personally when playing this game is identifying the operators. With 48 operators and multiple different skins, it becomes kind of hard to identify who is who when I'm engaging them. And with everybody having their own special ability, from something as simple as launching a flare that marks people around, or as crazy as a 1-second stun if I shoot that person while it's activated, it's kind of important to know who I'm fighting. There's also one operator that while he's down, you can execute him, and he drops a nice little friendly hand grenade at your feet. So class identification and knowing the pros and cons of each class and what each class does is really important in this game. Caliber is quickly becoming my favorite game to play. I've dumped a lot of hours into it already, and I don't regret a single minute of it. If you're a fan of SOCOM or Future Soldier, you will enjoy this gameplay, I promise you. Now, it being free to play, you're going to get a lot of the questions of, is it pay to win? And that's kind of a tricky subject in itself. Because, well, free to play games have to make money somewhere, right? You know, it's kind of how it is. Where they make their money is the grind. The grind isn't too bad on this. After 4 days of playing, I unlocked all 4 operators that I wanted to unlock with plenty of money left over. And that was playing, you know, sparingly, maybe like 2 hours a day at some points. So unlocking your operators isn't that hard. And now somebody coming in off the street and spending $200 and just unlocking whatever they want right off the bat isn't going to be any different from somebody starting off. You're getting the same operators, you have the same skills. Now the thing is, once you get to player account level 20, you can start researching skills and unlocking them. That's where the grind kind of picks up a little bit, because you need to unlock certain packs, and packs you get them from playing. You can't just straight up buy packs with money. So it does involve a grind no matter what for everybody. And once you get the packs, you go ahead and you upgrade the skills, which can take a little while. And that's where you kind of have it. So those who dump time into the game are going to have better characters than those who spend dollars. So no matter what, it's kind of an equal playing ground at that point. I really do enjoy the gunplay. I really do enjoy the maps, the operators and everything like that. But the one issue that is kind of current with this game is it was released in Russia before America. And now it is kind of just released in North America, Europe sphere. And not many people know about the game, as probably a lot of you clicking on the game are just now finding out about it. I didn't know about it until somebody pointed me to another video. So there are not many people in North America playing right now. So a lot of the times you're going to get grouped with Russians, because it's been out for a while with Russians. And you do have kind of a ping issue. It's not too bad. If you're playing snipers, like the not semi-auto snipers, there can be a little bit of lag, and it's noticeable. For sure, I'm going to tell you that 100%. But if you're playing anything else, you know, if you're playing Assault or anything like that, you're throwing them out, a ton of lead out there, it's not really going to matter too much. Now, you will find guys that are running like 5 ping, and that's kind of a little difficult. But that's the reason I'm making this video too, to kind of help promote the game out and be like, hey, North American players, we can play, and you're going to, you know, get into the game, let's fill these servers up. Now, a few weeks ago, they had it to where you just had to select servers, and you basically had to pick the Russian server if you wanted to get the game. Now they got it to where it rotates, and it will throw you, if there's enough US players on, it will throw you into a US server with US players, which is super awesome, and I'm really enjoying that. So instead of sitting in a queue that's 20 minutes long on the US servers, you can just sit there and queue normally, and if there's nobody on the US side, it'll throw you into a Russian server quickly. So you don't have to wait around for a long time. Average 3 minutes you wait for a match, and you know, matches can be pretty long or pretty short. Overall, this game is really good. I really enjoy it. Once they do some advertising, this game is going to blow up for sure. Anybody who played SOCOM is definitely going to get into this and play the hell out of it. It's got a lot of cool stuff coming on. They're going to be releasing ranked stuff in the future, along with a big next update, which they haven't really said all the new stuff about yet. But overall, I really do enjoy this game. I really like it. The gunplay is awesome. We just need to kind of get more North American players on that, which I have no doubt about, because of the gameplay. I think if people just play it for a little while, it will just kind of build up a little bit with more players here and there, because everyone's just going to enjoy the gameplay a lot. I mean, if you like Future Soldier or SOCOM, you're really going to like the gunplay in this. And some of the operators are really cool. You know, there's a lot to choose from. It's not just like, oh, this is an early access game with like limited stuff. No, it's got a lot of stuff in it. And, you know, and there's more coming. And, you know, once you get into it, you unlock an operator, like, all right, I want to make this guy better. Well, let me try this operator. There's so many operators to choose from, you'll fight one and you'll be like, I want to try that one. and you start unlocking him, and then you get him unlocked, and you're like, all right, that one was cool. Well, I want to use that one next, and and go from there. There's a lot of really cool things to this game. I enjoy the hell out of it. I know a lot of you will too. Of course, there's going to be people that this isn't their cup of tea, and hey, if you didn't grow up with SOCOM, you're probably going to look at this game and be like, oh, another third-person shooter like Division, and things like that. But if you grew up with SOCOM Future Soldier, you can appreciate exactly what this game is and what it's trying to do, and what you get gameplay-wise from it. But I highly suggest you guys check it out. There's a link down in the description below. Download it for free. It's worth at least the try. Trust me, you will enjoy it. You do have to go through some PvE missions before you can get to the PvP, but it kind of gives you a sense of the game, and you kind of get to see the PvE stuff at the same time without having to be like, let me try it out later. You got to get it from the sense, and then you go into the PvP stuff. But this game's really awesome. I really enjoy it. I highly suggest you check it out, and I'll see you on the battlefield.